Doctor Who, Season 1, Episode 2, The Devil's Chord. So I was, like, coming into this thinking, okay, we're coming into this thing and, like, okay, they're called Maestro. Is this going to be our master for this,
Okay.
this
That is
incarnation?
literally what I was thinking too.
It's
Like,
like-
as soon as they announced my name's Maestro, I'm like, the master? Because Maestro literally means master.
Yeah.
I saw a few comments like that saying the same thing. Wait, could this be the new master?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, master? No, yes, but no. And I mean, they were wearing purple.
Well, the thing is, they dressed like Miss Frizzle if she was a
People.
if she was a music teacher.
Supervillain? A music teacher supervillain?
Well, no, more of a Miss Frizzle if she was a music teacher. She would, that's how she would dress.
Okay.
Yes and no, because Miss Frizzle, when she taught music,
Oh yeah, there was a music episode.
there were a couple music episodes, and that's not quite how she dressed. I mean, she usually she changes the skirt and the skirt and the earrings match, and then the top is usually just a general top, and it's more of an A-line dress.
Well, just going for the over-the-topness of it.
A little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, it's but
That's
yeah,
what's up.
yeah. And then you start, but then Maestro, they keep doing things, and I'm like, no. Like, some of it you could get away with, like, okay, well, the Master's never shown the ability to do that, but Time Lords are weird, and maybe that's something the Master can do.
And
then,
I mean, the master was never able to completely eradicate the Time Lord race before, but then suddenly he was. So, the master's powers kind of jump and jive. So
yeah. So I was like, and then, but as the show went on, I'm like, no, this is not the Master, because this is this is too much things. Like, if the Master had come back as the Maestro and just had a just had a flair for music, like, that's weird for the Master, but not that weird. It's one of those things where if the Master came back as Maestro and, like, was just really into music, and, like, all of their things were music related, like, okay, but, like, this was way too many abilities that the Master just wouldn't have without a gadget. The Master would have a gadget of some kind.
It would have to be Sonic.
Yeah, or laser.
Yeah, laser, not Sonic.
Though he might have to use laser, but not. He has to use the Sonic to do the more musical stuff, because Sonic music, that's sound. But yeah, he might. The Master might come back as them and have the whole.
Yeah, it was a little too convoluted to be the Master.
Yeah, there was way too much that they were doing that was music related powers, and, like, that's not something, like, the Master can get away with a lot. You can explain a lot away by just being Time Lord or Time Lady or Time Nobility.
Time Echidna.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
Yeah, Time Nobility. And we did get the seed planted that the Master was in that golden tooth, and maybe, like, to get back at the Doctor, they released the Master. But yeah, no, obviously, over time it became wildly obvious that Maestro was not Master or Missy.
Yeah,
just sort of a different being entirely.
Yeah.
Child of the toy maker, apparently.
Yep.
But
And that does kind of give you the added thing of the pantheon that's coming up.
yeah, I thought that was like, Doctor Who has this problem of, okay, we have these really small stories, and then we have these really big stories, and it's just like, okay, can, like, is this what we're going to be dealing with this season? Is like we'll have some more normal episodes, like Space Babies, which is weird that that's a normal episode, but that is a very normal Doctor Who episode.
Right.
It's a weird thing, but it's a very normal for Doctor Who. It's very normal. That's practically ordinary.
It's pretty standard Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's pretty standard Doctor Who fare. And then you get to this episode, and it's like, oh no, you're facing off with the toy maker's kid.
Progeny.
Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be this power scaling, like his whole, yeah, you could trick a god once. You can get away with shit once. It's a bit like the Borg. You can get away with crap once, but they'll be amused or annoyed, and then they won't forget that you did that, and they'll have a countermeasure by the time you meet them again.
So I have a theory.
That it's a dancing demon knows something isn't right there.
No. Okay, so it may not be the next Pantheon god or whatever, but I have a feeling that one of them is going to be like the representation of art. Because we got music.
Surprising. Didn't Maestro say something about like the
one who waits?
One who waits.
Is that like?
I thought that was Amy. I thought that was Amy Pond.
Okay, that was Rory. Well,
oh yeah,
that was Rory too.
Both.
I guess it was both of them. I guess
both.
They both had to wait.
She
Rory
was
a little longer
girl.
than Amy, but they both had to wait.
but she was the girl who waited.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't think the one who waits is a child of the toy maker.
No.
But what I wonder is if that's like time itself.
Maybe. Now, I have another theory. So, remember the beginning of the episode where that boy was a harbinger for Maestro?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Doctor's companion is going to be the harbinger for the one who waits.
I mean, I kind of.
Yeah, she's Ruby is
Rose. She's
there's
Rose.
Yeah, my brain
She's
is like,
Rose
yes,
2.0.
no, these are very somewhat similar characters. There's some key differences, but like,
yeah, she's basically Rose and Clara merged.
Yeah, but like Ruby, like there's a mystery about her birth, who her mother is, and so like that's going to tie into something later.
Wild, outlandish speculation here, but she is the child of the Doctor in River Song.
I mean,
like if it means I get more Alex Kingston,
right?
I can't be that mad about it, but it would be.
Big Finish does have an entire series of River Song.
I know.
That I have the entire series of River Song of. And I have her other story that has absolutely no Doctor Who correlation called Transference, starring her and Warren Brown, because, I mean, give me more Sam.
But yeah, I mean, it could be like there's a lot of things I don't like. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing to pull out of his hat, but I just don't think that's where Davies would go with it.
That's more of a Moffat thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. That feels like that would be something Moffat would do.
That's
would do that. Moffat would do that. I don't think Davies would do that. But he could be using that as an opportunity to surprise us. So
also, have you guys noticed the old lady in like every episode? She was in the first one she was Mrs. Flood. In
Yeah.
the second one, she was one of the, signing off characters, like in the video at the beginning.
Mm.
And in this one, she was the tea lady.
Oh my god, she's the one who waits.
Or she's just the next Missy.
Actually, that would be kind of hilarious.
I mean, it would be pretty awesome. Uh,
Yeah, I thought there was one thing that was kind of weird about this, but I guess it
the
makes
twist
sense.
at the end,
Well, that was weird, but that felt
that
like
that
that was a
just
very
ruined the episode for me. Like, I really like this episode. It's really fun and it's really like engaging. And I don't even like the Beatles, and I really liked this episode. But that end song and dance was just like, ugh, you ruined it.
like, why is this here? It does feel
Yeah,
like
it
it's a
was
little
just
bit of a
so slapdash. If you want to make a musical episode, make a freaking musical episode. Do Once More with Feeling type thing. Or Subspace Rhapsody. I really liked that, which was from one of the newer Star Trek series. But, like, make it an actual musical episode, and then it wouldn't be so slapdash at the end.
yeah.
But like,
It's
I liked the musical. I have zero musical concept. Like, I never took music in school or anything. But I appreciated like the nuance and the puns, because who doesn't love puns? But and I liked the episode as a whole. I thought Maestro was an engaging character. I liked the fact that like a they them character that wasn't just, they didn't make it a big agenda idea about it, like the fact that they're a they them. It's just, oh, that's the proper pronoun to use.
like
you
they
know
exist. That is
they
Okay.
yeah. And
exactly.
well, I mean, it's not the most shocking thing to get representation in here from that, because who's running the show right now? It's
Yeah.
Davies. Like, are you really that surprised that you get
No,
some?
I'm just
No,
saying.
I'm yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
like,
It's like, yeah, I'm just
like I liked it overall, and I liked all of it, and I liked even the fact that they used music as a weapon in such a like cartoonish way, just fit for the character.
well, yeah. Like,
But
how would a deity play with music, especially one that's getting
exactly,
stronger over time?
using it as a freaking rope, and even that whole over the top, I will steal the music of the spheres type thing. It was
Oh.
just so fun.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then the
inherited
ending,
that
just like,
from the toy maker a bit, that theatrics sort of situation.
exactly. I thought the character was beautiful, wonderful, and I really wanted those costumes. Uh,
But
but I think that if they had made it more of a if they had gone the Once More with Feeling route and made it a musical episode, like not just music themed, but a musical style episode, like Once More with Feeling from Buffy, or Subspace Rhapsody, or one of those type of, or the Psych even had a musical episode. I think it was just called Psych the Musical, though.
Power Rangers had a musical episode, somewhat.
I don't remember that. It must have been after Billy and
No,
Trini
it
left.
was
Or
Kimberly
it must
and
have been
Tommy
after
got
Trini
cursed
left.
with. They had to sing all their lines.
Was this after Trini left? Because I don't really remember a lot after Trini left,
I
because
don't
Billy
remember, because all
stopped
I remember
techno,
was Tommy
and I
and
just like,
Kimberly
fuck it.
having to sing, I think.
But
I'm fairly certain, but it was
Like-
in the White Tiger Ranger era. It wasn't in his Green Ranger era, so it was probably
it was
later.
probably after Trini and Trini, Jason, and Zach left, because I gave up after that because Billy stopped techno babbling, and my theme is my motto is talk nerdy to me. So, uh,
But yes, so
but if they had incorporated the song and dance throughout, it wouldn't have been so jarring and completely out of left field and just ugh, at the end.
yeah, it was a big dollop of like,
What
you
the
know,
fuck?
yeah, just sort of, it's like, yes, okay, in an episode where that fits, that's great, but it's like taking a scoop of chocolate ice cream, if you put it on top of a bowl of ice cream, that works. I know you don't like chocolate. You don't like chocolate?
I love chocolate.
Okay, I was confusing you with somebody else.
I'm allergic to mint. I don't like
Okay,
mint
that's
chocolate.
okay. I
That
was
makes me
confusing it with
sick.
something else. But yeah, okay, so basically,
But
scoop of
everything
chocolate
is chocolate.
on ice cream. Okay, one more scoop of ice cream on top of a pile of ice cream. That works. If you take a scoop of ice cream and you put it on top of a steak, it doesn't really work.
No. I mean, if you take some ice cream and put it on chocolate ice cream and put it on chicken nuggets, though, that's really good.
Yeah, that's why I went with steak, because I thought, well,
Yeah,
a
steak
freshly
is
cooked
too
steak,
greasy.
yeah, it doesn't
Like,
really work.
just like a steak or a hamburger, no. You
Yeah,
need something breaded in order to absorb some of the sweetness.
but yeah, it was just one of those things where it like, it was a musical episode, and technically that fits the theme of music, but
Thematically,
it doesn't fit how the episode was constructed.
yeah.
Like, the
It,
theme is on point, but the construction doesn't really lead you to this. It does feel a little like they ran out of story and then dance number.
yeah, it's kind of like, to keep
Like,
with your analogy, they took a nice, yummy ice cream sandwich and decided to put a big thing of hot fudge on top, thinking it'll make it better. But the point of a ice cream sandwich is that you can hold it, and now you can't hold it because you're going to burn your fingers.
I mean, that just sounds like a challenge to me.
of course it would.
Of course it would.
No, I was
But I
gonna
mean,
say.
Madrak, you said you had a lot to say about this episode.
Well, I already mentioned the next one being probably like Art and her being the Harbinger,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. But I was like reading like on YouTube. There's like clips of the episode. I was like looking at like, comments and stuff, and there's like a bunch of comments going like, "Oh, woke agenda, they them, all that stuff." I was like thinking, but them being non-binary makes sense for a god of music.
Right?
Because
Like,
music doesn't have a gender.
and not all species, even terrestrial species, are non-gendered, intersex, or
Yeah.
technically hermaphroditic, because like there are some animals that will change gender, or there are some animals that are hermaphroditic and are both genders. So you wouldn't say he about a creature that has both, that is intersex. A sentient creature that is intersex would be a they them just as much as a
Assuming that
non.
that's what they wanted to be called, but
Yeah.
Well, yes,
yeah,
obviously, but I'm just saying
yeah.
also the actress, because is a trans woman who was on RuPaul's Drag Race, but when I looked her up, she is referred to she. So
Okay, I didn't know
and
what her
yeah, like
pronouns were, or if she was, because I'd heard conflicting reports. Like, it was like, one was saying, I was hearing about one ear, like, okay, no, it's just they just cross dress, and that's all that they are. They're, and then I'd heard out of another ear that no, trans woman, and I didn't know which was true. So I just went with Maestro being they, because that's what I know.
Yeah, but I mean it, and as somebody who has known quite a few trans people who used to be, used to be a he or a she and then became the other. But it could have been that she started out as just a just a drag queen because she was on RuPaul's Drag Race, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And then realized
that.
that's who she really is and decide and like, well, this is how I'm most comfortable, so I am now she full time.
Okay.
Like gender
Yeah,
is
I hadn't put that much effort into figuring it because it wasn't as
well,
important. It wasn't as important as who
the ki-
Maestro was.
yeah, but I mean, I honestly just um
And I just
came
heard.
across it before, like as I was watching the episode. I came across it because it ADHD. I've got to be multitasking, so like I was browsing something else, and because I was watching Doctor Who, I guess, and an article about that popped up on my feed. So, uh,
But yeah, I'd heard separate things. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know which one's true, and I'm not going to spend that much time looking into it because it's not that vitally important to the review of the episode. But like,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, I'll just talk about Maestro. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the only thing that like there was a couple weird things. Like I was half expecting them to go back to the was it 20s or 30s
but
when
yeah, the
when
29 was a busy year.
what? Yeah, they gave us the year, but I forgot what it was.
It
But
was 29. Wasn't that the same year as what's his name popped in? Like the toy maker.
I don't remember. Um, it wouldn't.
Whenever the first TV broadcast was.
But yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. But yeah, I was like, okay, well, they're gonna go back to there to stop Maestro at the beginning, but then the powers of like the toy maker and Maestro seem to work like once you stop them in one place, you kind of stop them everywhere, so it didn't really have to go back. And then they had to be in the 60s to get that final cameo in from the Beatles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad the Beatles actually agreed to do a cameo.
Well, fake Beatles, but
I would have never guessed. I thought they literally went back in time and asked the Beatles.
Right?
but yeah, the only thing that was kind of interesting, is sort of hand wavy, was the banishment thing. Like, how did the doctor know what notes to press? Was he just guessing?
He felt it from his heart.
Okay.
Hearts.
Yeah, I guess it's on the level of power of friendship, and then
Yeah.
I mean he did screw up at the end, so it wasn't perfect. Like he made some
Bum
really good guesses. What?
I had to combine all of them.
Bum notes.
Yeah, and then the Beatles like, oh, beep, burp, and then it's like, oh, crap, Nixie spit licked.
Oh. I guess there's one more thing. You should remind me of it. Doubtful it'll happen. Just a little theory. When he said that my soul was like split in two, right? I think I think that's probably like doing some damage to him, or like something's gonna happen where like the two doctors are gonna have to fuse back together again.
I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of all this, like one
Just a
final
guess.
battle, and just before like 15 regenerates, or sometime during 15's run, if he has a big battle or something that's making him a little roughed up, and like, but 14 is there too, and they kind of remerge to, like,
I mean, weirder
14
things
has
have
done
happened.
everything he needs to do to sort of like recuperate, to slow down and recuperate, and so like he's fresh and refreshed when he shows up to save 15 because he's been resting for a while, so he's fresh, and he comes in, and they're like, and then eventually like they remerge at that point.
Weird things have happened in this show.
Oh yeah.
Or the regenerative energy from them merging is what like destroys the one who waits or something.
Now,
Yeah,
here's
or
the,
them being two doctors at the same point, but sort of bi-generated, so it kind of like it's the only way that you can beat like a time-related deity, because then they're not lined up right, and so that screws
Or
with the one who waits.
or 14 sacrifices himself to save 15, which gives 15 the opportunity to destroy the one who waits or capture him or whatever the frack.
But he comes back to see him, and then as he's sort of having problems, and then like they, you know, shake
They
hands, and then he gets reabsorbed into 15.
oh, mini theory. What if it's found out since that they split, right? Like he's never checked. He hasn't checked yet. But what if it's found out? It's like, wait, I only have one heart.
I think they would have mentioned it by now.
Yeah, and he has mentioned hearts.
Well, yeah, because he probably still thinks that he has two hearts.
He would notice.
You
Yeah.
you'd notice because he has had one of his hearts stop before, and he said,
Yeah.
"How
How
do
dare
you
one of my
people
hearts
live like
stopped.
this?
How do you people live like this?" Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
So he would definitely notice if his heart stopped. One of his hearts stopped.
Yeah.
So here's a question about the one who waits. Okay. So we of course already think that the one who waits is evil. But the only people who seem to be afraid of the one who waits so far have been evil gods. So is he like more evil than them, or is he good, but just or it or whatever, but just bad to the toy maker and his children?
Or they're lawful neutral.
That too, yes.
That could be a
Or
thing. They don't care about good or bad. Like, you're screwing with time. I don't like that.
to quote I I believe the book was IQ, which I mean it was written by John Delancey and revolves around Q, so of course
I'm shocked.
that right, shocking. Paraphrasing here, but it's not good or evil. You don't say a hurricane is evil for doing damage to property. It's a force of nature. You don't assign goodness. Those assignments are just arbitrary. So for all we know, it isn't good or evil. It's just is. And the reason why they think, oh, the one who waits is going to get you, because it is a force of nature that, preys upon.
Yeah, it doesn't have good or evil. It's just, it has
It,
a thing that it does. And if you get outside of that thing, and like, as long as you stay within these bounds, it doesn't really care. But you take a step outside of its little happy place where it's like, oh no, you have broken the rules. Slap. Get back inside the rules.
mm-hmm.
It's that sort of situation. And the Doctor tends to break the rules fairly often, so.
Oh yeah. Hey, so
Or another suggestion, it's not the one who waits is an alternate incarnation of the Doctor. A future, like where the Doctor, 14 and 15 merge back to create. So the one who waits is himself.
Yeah.
Or herself.
Yeah, and when they merge back together, like, yeah. That's
Hey,
interesting.
just for the fun of it, I think we should each throw out who we think the one who waits is, and let's see if any of us are right or if we're just all wrong.
It's Flood.
But
Yeah, no, I believe that it probably is Flood or Flood's incarnation, whoever that may be, because we
okay,
don't really know.
so now I'm just gonna throw this out there, and I realize I'm probably way off. Okay, and I like being way off because if I'm right, it makes it that much better. When I hear the phrase "the one who waits," the one thing that comes to mind is death, because no matter what, death will always wait till the end to take you.
Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me.
Well, and it's also a a stark contrast with the Doctor at this point, that the Doctor, for better or worse, is now functionally, so long as they have enough time to regenerate, they can get to a safe enough place and have enough time to regenerate. They have a limitless regeneration cycle, so they can keep cheating death.
Now again, I may be wrong, but it's just the thing I think of when I hear the one who waits, because death waits for all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's possible. Time, death, anything that's sort of universal, but also has typically is characterized with patience. You know.
Oh,
Oh, what?
sorry. It's Patience was the Doctor's first wife.
Oh, sorry.
That was literally what she was called. I think she was actually given that name by one of his companions who ended up meeting her in one of the novelizations, because she because doctor and patients, and she
Sorry, you
was very
just
patient, and she was one of his tutors back in the academy days. So
you just reminded me of something. What was that whole oh, my granddaughter's living over there right now,
oh,
etc.
because in 1963, when Doctor Who first aired, it was contemporary. So 1963 was 1963,
Okay.
like just like it's 2024 here. So you're what, 2024,
Yeah.
because it's contemporary to the character.
Okay.
So in Doctor Who first aired November 23rd, 1963. So because they're in 1963, and I was so chuffed that they actually made that comment, because when she said, when they actually went to 1963, I'm like, oh my gosh, the Coal Hill School, Susan. So because that's where the first episode aired. Like, he was in a junkyard on Totter's Lane, and the reason why she went by Susan Foreman was because the on the scrawl on the gate to that junkyard said I.M, letter M dot Foreman. So she when her teachers Ian and Barbara decided to go check on her, because they're like, she's such a weird girl, like what's going on, let's investigate and make sure she's okay. And when they went there, they saw the TARDIS, and they're like, it's humming, but it's not plugged into anything. What the heck? And then they heard from inside, grandfather? And it was Susan calling out. And that's when the old man doctor, Hartnell,
Yeah.
was like, what are you doing here? And like trying to shoo them away. And it's like, no, we heard our student in that box. Why are you keeping her in a police box? It's like, you heard nothing. And she calls out again. And so they barge into the TARDIS. And so the doctor kidnaps them, because it's like, You're
No
gonna tell people.
witnesses.
Huh?
No witnesses.
Well, sort of. And then he just couldn't get them back because back then the TARDIS wasn't working, which is why it was stuck in a police box form. And he was trying to work on it, but then her two nosy teachers decided to barge in, and so they had to leave because otherwise the police would be called. And how do you explain that? We're totally here legally. Yeah, we're totally humans. So they had to they had to poof off, and that's what started the entire series.
Yep. So basically, he's not only there, but also there at the same time,
Yep.
just different points in his timeline. His timeline intersects 1963 twice, at least.
Also, did you notice the wibbly wobbly timey wimey comments
Yeah.
Maestro made?
Also, can we all agree that the new is the
That what you just did was
Sorry, I know my
Woody
throat's
Woodpecker. Ha
my
ha ha
throat's
ha
sore.
ha ha.
Sorry, my throat's sore. So, but we can all agree that's the new knock.
It is, yeah.
Oh, and two things. One, we do get some possible answers on the fate of Susan, but maybe it's enough that it's like ish. It's like this could happen. He doesn't know where she is, and it could have been this, but it maybe not. It's a non-answer, but it's at least, oh well, that was a possibility. And
I like the fact that they're bringing her up again because they might actually bring her back at some point. Like, because how many times do they mention a character and then, oh, that's they're dead. They're not coming back. Oh, there they are.
oh, Ruby is Susan's daughter.
Quite possibly. That would be interesting.
The other thing I was going to bring up was, notice how quickly all the landings are?
Yeah.
I mean, time travel is fast.
Well,
I wasn't
not just that, but just like all the sound effects. Usually, when like one of the other doctors lands, it's it lasts for a few seconds, and then it stops, and then they go out. He's
there isn't even a dunk.
Yeah, he's seems to be much better at piloting the TARDIS than the other doctors for some reason. I guess just experience, but but he still leaves the brake on. So
oh yeah,
of course, you can't not. I mean, the sound.
It's the same idea as the chameleon circuit not always being broken. It's like
it's not so much it's broken at this point.
Yeah,
that's how she looks. Don't judge.
Yeah, the chameleon circuit for a long time. Oh, the chameleon circuit's broken. It's like no, I fixed it.
They actually did. He actually did fix it at one point in his 6th incarnation because it became ironically a piano. And it's just like, no, we're turning it back.
Yeah. Well, and who was it? I forget which doctor it was, but it explained like it surveys all the air around it, picks a form that will camouflage perfectly, and then turns into a blue police box from 1963.
Yeah.
It's like
she is beautiful just the way she is.
Yeah, I forget who explained it that way. It's like, no, it perfectly scans the area, TARDIS knows exactly what form would perfectly camouflage the TARDIS. And then it turns into a blue police box.
Now, remember, it is no longer the Time Lord, it is the Lord Temporal.
Yeah, Lord Temporal.
And I wonder if the rest of them don't exactly like their dad.
I mean, look at who their dad is. Would you?
True.
Although the way they phrased that did come off as a little, Me Too vibes. Daddied me too much.
Now,
Um,
kind of for the episode, but not really. Something like I saw a comment like on the Toy Maker, which actually made sense. Like you got like chaos, and you got like order, and you got like play. It like play kind of makes sense as being like the middle child because like play like board games, right? It's fun, it's chaotic, but at the same time, it still has rules.
yeah.
It was a very interesting episode.
I liked it.
Yeah, I knew that at least Dex, with his musical background, would either love it or hate it. But either way, he'd have plenty to say on it. It's like, yeah, you definitely would love it, hate it, or at least have comments.
Oh, that scene with when the doctor made everything silent, that was pretty like that.
Yeah. Although with how often I listen to the unit audios, when I hear the word, well, you did that thing with the silence, I'm like, I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
Let's see.
Because my brain has been trained to, as soon as I hear the word silence, that's exactly where my brain goes. The silence.
Let me think.
Make sure you got a Sharpie on you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I actually do that at work. It's not with a Sharpie, it's with a regular like pen. Pilot Precise 2, by the way. Because
I favor the
favorite
the Pilot G2.
G2 is good too.
I like that. It's very smooth, and
it is.
It doesn't break down very much.
Yeah, but the Precise,
except the little
the
thing, the tab that you hang over your pocket, like that breaks off fairly.
Yeah, no, that's why I like the Precise V2, because it's, you pop the cap. I do like the G2 as well because, like, but the thing is, it's a clicker pen, so it's a lot. With the capped ones, I uncap it and I keep it hooked on my shirt, like on my collar or on my necklace, so that I just pop it off, draw the line, pop it back closed. And so I don't have to actually remove it or anything, because I do write tallies on my arm all the time in order to tally how many boxes we get of each type of item. So by the end of the day, I really do look like I've been dealing with the silence.
I guess my last thing is I feel kind of sorry for the TARDIS. It keeps on getting beaten up.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of expected at this point.
Yeah.
She like expects that shit by now.
And you're dealing with a deity. It's things are going to get a little rough.
Yeah.
But
I don't know
it
why.
sounds like we're wrapping up here.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Oh, next week